What's up, She's Not Selling sisters? In this episode, we talk about all the predictions that we have for what's in store in remote sales in 2026. You definitely, if you're thinking about getting into sales, if you are in remote sales already, you want to listen to this episode. I'll see you inside. Hello, everybody. I am back with my very favorite Mr. Husband.
Mr. Husband, that's me. Yep.
I wanted to talk to you today about what we think is in store in remote sales in 2026 because off the back of our last episode, we spoke about the evolution of industries and how they continue to change as we learn more and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I wanted to start by just saying, let's go back. Let's go back in time. Did I give you the ick?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah. It takes a bit more than that.
We'll go back to 2018 when we first started, where businesses were starting to be like, oh, online
That's almost 10 years ago now.
Exactly. So come on, we got more information. Remember, without data, it's just drama.
Yeah.
So there was lots of drama in 2018 with remote sales. It was a big hype, but we saw businesses paying in excess of 18% commissions and not really doing proper P&Ls and all sorts of things. And all of those businesses are now done.
Yep.
So obviously over time, an industry standard has developed. So we now, most accounts will pay 10% on commission. And over time, it's become different, like what's actually required of a remote salesperson. Because back then, you could be so average. You literally could be so average. I know average people that I was selling with that I was like, you suck so bad.
And they're still making
but they're still making like 10, 15, 20K a month. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But those days are gone.
Yeah.
I mean, disagree with me?
No, I agree. I think and the whole thing that that we haven't spoken about, which is the big looming AI thing,
we'll
right?
get there.
We'll definitely get into that. So the landscape has just changed. I mean, I'm just going to put my big amorphous thing out there, which I think that only will the average get weeded out.
Yeah.
Once again, it's there's a common theme, I feel which is always value will rise to the top. But what I do feel will happen is businesses are more in a position where they will just lead route their best clients to the top performing closers. And as a byproduct of that, top performing closers will just go to the moon.
Yeah.
They will go to the moon because they will be able to they'll be able to demand more. They'll have all the best opportunity because AI is just going to weed out everyone that's average. Because why would you have average people when you could just get AI to get a similar result, probably not as good, but a similar result, but it doesn't sleep.
And you don't need to pay it 10%.
And you don't even pay shit. And also it doesn't have sick days. It never sleeps. And it doesn't have personnel issues.
Doesn't get burnt out.
Yeah. So what will end up happening is the most valuable thing and the people that are the best at it, they will just make an absolute killing.
Yeah. And let's just talk about average for a sec because back in the day, 2018, no one had really jumped on a call before. No one really knew about a strategy session.
Yeah.
No one really knew what all of that kind of meant. Now we're dealing with a way more savvy buyer who's probably been on hundreds of calls with shitty reps.
I know what you're doing now.
Yep, I know what you're doing. Can we skip the mindset stuff?
Yeah.
So you do really have to be elite and you have to be conversational. This has to be an unconsciously competent skill set that you have.
Yeah.
It needs to feel, not even feel, it needs to be an authentic, driven conversation where you understand the psychology on such a high level that you're just doing it. You do it all the time. It's how you communicate.
Yep, which is always process over script.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. Oh, well,
script.
Yes.
If you're just a script reader, you could get a sick result if you had a good script. Back in the day, if you had a good script and you just kind of read it, not sounding like an idiot, you would get some pretty good results.
I mean, even if you were sounding like an idiot.
Yeah. But now it's if you just read a script like a robot, you will not get any results. But you still follow the script because the script is just the process in written form, which I love that, by the way.
Yeah.
You still have to follow the process, but you've got to do it in a way where the prospect doesn't know. The consequence.
Yeah, this has been asked me 10 times.
Tell me what's
before.
your biggest, what are your biggest problems you're running into right now? It's I know that exact question.
Swimming for my problems.
Is there someone literally asked me on the last call that I was on last week?
Yeah. So that's the first thing is there's just going to be no more room for average. If you're playing an average game, if you're putting in minimal effort, average, nah. You'll be done. And I also just don't think that means you're going to be of no value to a business owner. So if we put ethics aside, I think expect more people just getting let go over text messages.
Yeah.
I seriously do.
Yeah.
Like if you are going to go in and be average, like I don't think, and this could be maybe a controversial opinion, I personally would always ring and let someone know they've been let go of. But if they're on a trial and they're giving me no value and they're showing me no potential, thank you very much. Next, like bye.
This is the thing that everyone forgets. You've actually just triggered like a whole thing. So when you become a remote closer, you're a contractor, right? Now, like there is a difference between a contractor and someone that's an employee or whatever it is.
For sure.
So when I was a carpenter and I ran my own business, I was a contractor and I would contract out for builders. Now, did they train me, Brooke?
No.
If I fucked up a job, did they get me back on the next one?
No.
No. A lot of the time they wouldn't even communicate to you. It was like they would give you the next job and you're like, okay, I must be doing well here because they just keep lining up jobs. Where people will kind of like get things wrong and average, this is why I'm saying average, because businesses will be able to demand so much more from top performing closers because they're being paid really fucking well. And like if I just want an absolute killer to come in and I'm going to be paying them $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 because like there's one person that I basically will, rather than having to like feed a lot of average people, I can just line them up. Yeah. I would expect a lot from them.
Yeah.
Like
sure.
I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm going to train you. And they're like, what are my biggest, what's my lowest hanging fruit? It's like, you should know this. You should know this. You've identified it.
Yeah.
And a lot of these businesses, they're not equipped or they don't know this shit.
Yeah.
Right?
They're experts in their field.
Like the builder that employed me didn't go up and pitch the roof.
No.
You didn't know that. Like a lot of times it's bricklayer because they all are.
Yeah.
But
well,
that was my thing.
Yeah.
So what business owners will also expect from you, I believe, is for you to go out and get your own training and get really fucking good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay, let's pivot to talking about AI because I think this is like can be a little bit scary for people coming into this industry thinking like, am I going to have a job? I think we're already seeing it. Like AI is embedded in a lot of the sales process. It really is. Like, I mean, we're using a lot of AI within our sales process. I do not think it will fully replace high ticket. Like I really don't. I think low ticket, most likely, I really do.
Yeah.
Unless you are elite and you're performing and you can get the same, you can't get the same results. But I do think AI as part of your sales process will only supercharge you. And that's how it should be seen. It needs to be seen as something that can supercharge you. If you don't have the skill set of someone who's been doing sales for the last 10 years, AI will help collapse time so that you can get to that same level a lot faster.
Yeah.
Use it to review your call. Use it to identify your bottleneck. If you're not doing that, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. That's the big ones. This is, once again, it's the winners will just keep winning.
Yeah.
And they'll win even harder because now they have AI as a tool.
Yeah.
Like, so this is stuff that I've helped some of my closers with as well, and like some of our clients too. Like I remember having to go through and like for follow-ups and go through my notes from like months ago and try and like weed out like, shit, what was this person's problem again? Like where were they at? You can now literally have a transcript immediately after the call automatically reviewed by AI, plugged into a folder where you just have that client. And then when the client reaches out to you in like 6 months time, they're like, hey, like, you know, where things are at, I might be interested. I just go, boom, name, boom. I know exactly their problem, where they struggled with, super specific, right? But to answer your question about like what will get pushed out and what won't, it's the same thing. The way that like AI is not good enough yet, really. And we've tried using it. Like we've tried using like AI DMs. It just didn't really work. Like it never slept and it did a large amount of volume, but it just didn't get the return. And now we have a DM team and they're killing it and they're humans. So like it's not their skill set wise, but for things that you can get away with a little lower like skill set and you're willing to like the upside of being like, okay, I'm going to take a hit in terms of performance, but volume will just make it a no-brainer. That is what will get replaced.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And like sales isn't that. Like a $50,000 program is not that. It's not like, you know, I get one opportunity with this person ever.
Yeah.
And you're sending in your top trooper for that. You're not just sending in like an AI that doesn't know, you know, what data it is.
Yeah, exactly right. Yep, I agree. I think that's what we're going to see with AI. I also think human connection is going to become your advantage. So a lot more, and this is something that women do extremely well, active listening, empathy, emotional intelligence, like actually being able to read beyond what the potential client is saying. Because obviously, again, with the introduction and I guess explosion of AI, people are becoming way more skeptical. Is this real? Is this not? So understanding that and then being like, right, how can I bring that element of realness and authenticity to my call? Because that will get valued so much more, and you will have great connections if you remember to do all of those things, which why I'm saying remember is because when you're too stuck in the script and you're like, oh, I got to ask this question, you're actually losing that human side. You're actually sounding more like a robot, which is more like AI.
That's so true.
Something else that we'll see is that data-driven sales enablement will surpass like a gut instinct. So I feel like in the past, you would maybe look at one metric and be like, I just don't think like it's really working out or whatever. But now every decision that is going to be made, whether it be deemed as harsh or not, is going to be driven solely by data and not just one metric. Lots of different metrics are going to be taken into consideration. So it's no more just like, you're a bad egg.
Example.
Okay, yeah.
Let me give you an example. So what AI, and it will only get better and better at this, but at least AI, like it can't really have a bad day, right?
Yeah.
So anything that's subjective or like anything that's subjective is like really hard to get data on.
Yeah.
For example, marketing, feedback to marketing from sales teams. It's very easy for a closer that comes off 5 no sales to go, these fucking leads suck. The lead quality's in the gutter.
Yeah.
And marketing's looking at it like, that's so weird. That's the exact same avenue that I just got the last 5 calls that they took, which were all 5 sales. Nothing's changed, but it's subjective, right? They just had on a low point. So where we use it, and this is ideally, once again, where actual individual closers will be able to use it, is actually looking at what happened objectively on the call and then allowing that to give back feedback to the person and also to the marketing. So we actually have this in place now. So basically every single call that happens gets ran through this process. It gives a good overview in terms of like their financial situation. So if people are coming onto the calls and they're like crying absolute poverty or like things are super tight, it'll basically just put them into clear buckets, which is like, hey, no budget was spoken about, financially qualified, tight budget, or like really struggling financially. And it basically puts them in those buckets. So what then I get to do across 100 calls, knowing objectively as humanly possible from AI, I can go, cool, we are actually speaking with low quality leads. Girls are still converting them. Like, we're good. Or it's like, wow, we are speaking with lower quality leads. Girls aren't converting them. Hey, feedback from marketing. Let's change.
Wow. See, like that's so like that can help us make decisions so much faster.
Yeah.
So metrics are no longer just tracking activity. They're actually quantifying impactful conversations. And that feedback is not only important for like, we might need to change where we're marketing, but actually the message and the positioning as well.
But how good is that for overcoming your own confirmation bias?
Yeah, I know.
Right? Because if you're like, man, I've just had like 10 calls, I fucking suck.
Yeah.
Sales is a roller coaster. I don't know if this is cut out for me. And you look back and the AI is like, nah, those last 10 calls were actually real rough. Like, you did a good job.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or vice versa. You're like, man, I'm the best. I've closed like 10 out of 10. I can't be stopped. And then AI is like, well, good job.
They were lay
those 10 were really high quality. So like, be ready.
Yeah.
Because like, winter is coming.
Yeah. That's so great. So yeah, I think data is definitely going to be used to make some really big moves and faster as well. So not to scare anyone of their job, but again, you can use that same data in your favor
to
your advantage. Exactly. Yep. All right, let's finish this because like obviously I'd love to hear your predictions now. So they're things that I already know, we're already seeing happen.
Yeah.
But what would you say a prediction that you have that we will see in remote sales this year?
I actually think that we'll start to see the first like AI sales reps this year.
Okay. Selling what kind of?
So I reckon they're going to try and do AI Zoom. And I reckon it's going to flop hard.
I think so too. Yeah. Because isn't there parameters around they have to say, hi, I am
I just
Jenny,
think it's
the
like,
AI
I just
blah, blah.
think people, because businesses are going to be like, let's just see if we could go all AI so we don't have to worry about personnel. And I think what is going to happen
don't do that.
That's gonna be a rough road. I know, like you can already do it now with like voices.
But I thought there's protection measures. I think we got a few more years.
A lot of this is like not necessarily compliant. That's for sure. For businesses that are doing this now, but like people will try and get away with whatever they can, right? So like I think the phone call ones, yes. I think people will try and eventually then try and actually solicit rather than just set through AI on phone calls. They might be able to get away with it. And then I reckon someone's going to try and come out with the Zoom version of it. But I reckon, because have you seen a lot of the like like content creators are all over it now.
Oh,
they like
this,
do
yeah,
the
I
thing
know.
and they can become a girl when they're a guy or something, or like vice versa.
yeah.
They just-
Yeah.
and they can look like a robot or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's convincing.
Discernment is going to be one of the most utilized skills that you need to have this year in 2026. Discernment. You need to know what's real and what's not. There's like AI influencers that have millions of followers and selling
people don't
programs
know.
now. That's
Because
what I
when
mean.
when you just glance
the
at
boomers.
stuff, you don't. And this is what I'm saying, because people are thinking that like a sales call is just like they're just glancing on it. It's like, oh, well, they've got AI influencers. People don't know. So they're going to think that they can get, but I reckon, like, have you heard the videos of AI, like, gaslighting people?
Yeah.
Like, and they're trying, I completely understand what you're saying, Brooke, though
Yeah, I know.
you're wrong.
Yeah, there's
And it's
not 2 3s in strawberries. There's not three R's in strawberries.
Triggers it, like, right? Because you're like, you're
wrong.
You're wrong and you're not real.
Yeah.
So I think that's my prediction. I think that we're going to try and fully take it, but I think it's going to flop hard.
Well, I think we're also seeing there's going to be we're coming back to low ticket again, which is a real pain, because now there's a lot of people out there just to make a quick buck. And so what I think we're actually going to see a lot of as well is people undercutting like high ticket coaches. So like you'll see an AI influencer, for instance, be like, I can get you a dream body for like $10 a month. And we're going to go back to see that starting to happen. And people are just going to fall for it because if they can't use discernment to be like, oh, this person's fake, and be like, wow, I want that body. You're telling me I only need to pay $10? Like it is casting such a wider net, and there's going to be zero fulfillment, which is going to continue to break trust more and more. So like we're already seeing it. That would be my prediction for this year. And I also think the disparity, not disparity, I think there's going to be less of I can't think of the word, disparity maybe. So usually on an account, if you had like 10 closers, you would have like a few making 10K, you'd have a couple making 20, you'd have like a few making 30. I think that's going to stop.
Yeah.
I think you're either going to be making 30, 40, 50, 60K a month or like below 10.
Yeah.
And that middle group of people where like you're kind of good, but you're kind of not. You can get away with not doing training. You can get away with not doing that. Like that's just, you're just not going to have a place.
But then even like, why would you keep those bottom ones as well? So then the question becomes like,
well, exactly.
It's just like the rich will get richer kind of vibe.
Yep. Yeah.
You brought up a good point as well though with that whole like low ticket thing, because the thing that everyone's kind of forgetting is like low ticket gives you low ticket value, right? It's just the way it's set up. Like no one's trying to hide it. If you spend less money, you get less than if you spend more money, you get more. But the thing that everyone's forgetting is like ChatGPT can give you everything already. So why would you even pay like $10 for something, like a course or whatever it is?
Yeah.
It's like you just go on ChatGPT and just be like, hey, like make me
plan.
really good at, make me a fucking meal plan.
Yeah. These are my macros. This is what
where I think that a lot of like people will go and businesses will have to go to is it's not necessarily just the thing or the information. It is the experience and it's the relationships and
accountability
it's the community that come with it.
Yeah.
And the accountability. I've tried to make ChatGPT as brutal on me as humanly possible. But like when it tells me off and tries to hold me accountable, I just...
You don't care.
I'm like,
Yeah. You're like,
You're
what are you
AI.
going to do?
I'll just program
What,
you
you're
a
going to
different
show up
way.
at my house and kick my
Yeah.
ass? Like, no, you're not.
Yeah, but when there's an actual human being staring at you in the face, real life or online, it's real different.
Yeah.
So I just don't think that it will ever get there, because the other thing that everyone's forgetting as well is that AI is like kind of there to serve you.
Yeah.
So there's always a sense that you're better than it.
Yeah.
There's a big takeaway, but like,
Yeah.
so then how are you supposed to respect something, especially like in a purchasing decision, if you're like, well, I'm like, you serve me. That's a hot takeaway.
Yeah.
Though,
Well, there you go.
That's right. That's what I think.
There we go. That's what we think is in store for our remote sales in 2026. Bye-bye.